Introduce our guest speaker this afternoon. A member of the Mattawan Regional High School class of 2012, Anthony Holliday began his high school career with much uncertainty. As common with most students entering high school, Anthony was trying to find his way. As a freshman, Anthony got involved with athletics, participating in football, wrestling, and track and field. Branching out during his sophomore year, Anthony moved on to the marching band, concert band, chorus, dance, and became a member of the Performing Arts Academy, where he thrived in the fall drama and spring musical. He was an active participant in the Thespian Society and a Basie Award winner for Best Ensemble for the musical Guys and Dolls. During his time in high school, Anthony was also a three-time state semifinalist, two-time state semifinalist, and a third-place district champion and national qualifier in speech and debate. Following high school, Anthony attended Brookdale Community College, where he was a Student of the Month and the recipient of the Governor's Award. Anthony went on to the Atlantic Conservatory on a full scholarship and then earned his master's degree from the School of Drama at Yale University, where he was the Jerome L. Green Scholar. Since graduation, Anthony has been performing regional theater in Seattle, Pittsburgh, and New York, and when not performing, Anthony does theater readings at the Met Art Museum in New York and also teaches classes in theater arts. Anthony's inspiring story is a testament to the power of positivity, believing in oneself, and having the motivation to achieve your goals and dreams no matter what the obstacles are. Please join me in welcoming Anthony Holliday, Mattawan Regional High School, class of 2012.
Hello, 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 hello. Make some noise for these graduates. Woo! Wow. Wow, congratulations, graduates. I feel so honored to be here. If they had given me a microphone in school, I might have got written up, but today it's all good because I did all the writing. I will be your final speaker for those of you who are wondering when this is going to end. So let's go out with a bang. I'll make this smooth, I promise. First and foremost, I just want to acknowledge that we are occupying the land of the Munsee Lenape. I also want to acknowledge that in the beauty of this moment, I feel super privileged to be in this space on this field and feel the comfort of safety in the midst of a war and the mini apocalypse that we all individually face for merely being in our bodies every day. I want to start off with a huge shout out and give gratitude to my mother, who showed me it is never too late to tackle your ambitions. My mother, who a few months ago received her GED and is now a full-time student at Brookdale Community College. I want to give another shout out to my father for sacrificing his full scholarship to Stetson University for basketball because he had my brother. And years later, even though he didn't attend college, was the first person to introduce the idea that college was still and always will be an opportunity. Finally, there are teachers that have given me the space to grow, space to cry, space to be confused and excited, curious and confident. To the Mrs. Hilliards, Mr. Malaves, Mr. Marsh, Mrs. Francis, Mrs. Phillips, Mr. Pickens, Ms. Fajardo, Ms. Hudkevich, Ms. Kaiser, Mr. Guerin, and the list goes on and on and on. If y'all could give a huge round of applause for some of those teachers that will live rich. Yeah, there you go. Thank y'all. I definitely thought with a month in advance, I would surely have something easy to roll off my tongue to say to a group of teenage seniors graduating high school. But if I'm to be at all transparent, my life circumstances were a bit different. I was living ahead of my teenage years, facing circumstances that I couldn't, at the time, imagine making it through. At the beginning years of high school, I was figuring out transportation for how to come to this school every day from a half hour away by train, a town that I lived in, a half hour away by train. My family and I were homeless. And though we lived in a house, we didn't have the space to create a home. I was figuring out how to stay after school for as long as I could so I didn't have to go back home where the space wasn't healthy for me to be in mentally. I was figuring out where to live. I was all over the place. My mother made incredible sacrifices for me to come to this school, specifically. The summer before my sophomore year, I moved in with my best friend down the street after my mother split custody with his parents, my best friend's parents. That decision will always be the turning point of my life in any success. It was then that I became a more stable student at Mattawan Regional High School, a small, confused, and scared boy. It was then that I was looked after by Vice Principal Deborah Cesny, who served as my school mom and guardian angel, cutting my week-long detentions down to 3 days, or a day suspension to an in-school suspension. I was a very particular student. You couldn't tell me anything. I had a lot to fight for. I fought to be here. A student that teachers had to keep chipping away at because you have to get through the coal first to find the diamonds. In school, I was always moving, active, physically expressing myself, and a lot of times adversely. Burning a student, saying crude things to teachers. Mrs. Cesny had the gift of decelerating my chaotic energy into calm focus. She would say, "Let's talk turkey," close her door, and then shoo me out. She kept it real transparent. She's worthy of 1,000 flowers for the way that she has helped me blossom. I thank Linda Walling for giving me an outlet for expression with casting me in my very first musical back to the 80s. Without that, I am no artist. Production director, the King, Mike Wells, AKA Big Smooth, for telling me that one day my picture would be on the wall of the Mattawan Hall of Fame when I was a sophomore in high school, and still to this day. The formidable Gal Bowens for sculpting my expressive skills through speech and debate, which is a club that helped save my life. She helped me find my first poem that put me in the semifinals for our state championship, and is also the reason I wasn't at my high school graduation. I had qualified for nationals and was competing for the school through dramatic interpretation in Indianapolis, Indiana, June 14, 2012, exactly 12 years ago to the day. And 3 days from now, I'll be getting on a plane to go and perform in a production in Indianapolis, actually. So it's really funny how life comes full circle. For me, nothing felt heavier than having to decide between graduation and nationals. A decision that I didn't make lightly. Do I stay for graduation or go to nationals? I fought enough already, but this decision was hitting back. I was sweating. I had a few days to make this decision after asking if we could push graduation back a day or two, or we could somehow fly for graduation, then back to nationals. After all, it was graduation, which feels like and felt like the biggest event of your life thus far, or nationals in Indianapolis, which was the biggest event of high school in speech and debate, which I had worked 3 long years to get to because all I wanted to ever do was be a storyteller. At that time, it was a 3-year-old dream. I dreamt it every day since freshman year. I had literal dreams and thoughts about telling stories on stage, on camera, or at huge events like charities, galas, and even the Oscars. I remember vividly the feelings I had after performing on stage for what felt like thousands of people, but in reality was maybe 40 parents and Miss Walling. I was dancing to Footloose and kicking off my Sunday shoes and my Capezios, smiling from cheek to cheek in this bowling shirt button down on that very stage next to the office. I called my best friend after that very number in the musical and told him, I'm gonna be an actor for the rest of my life. And I meant it. I had a vision. I wasn't aware what that would entail, but if one person would watch me act, it was worth performing. I thought, I could go to college for this, right? And the rest is still being written. A story with so many chapters, it feels like an anthology. It's a priceless occupation. And most times, the pay is only someone's attention. I learned what it meant to love. I love this art. I love this school for helping me love this art. I loved acting. I loved honing my skills to speak, the love for meaning. And in the process of loving, I wasn't aware that I was furthermore saving myself. I went from being caught up in moving, being active, and using my body as a form of expression for my emotions destructively, to using my breath as a vehicle to navigate all that I felt that I couldn't before articulate. I didn't know it then, but the well-known activist and Arthur Bell Hooks eloquently postulates it best. Ultimately, boys and men save themselves when they learn the art of loving. Though Hooks expresses this quote to a specific gender, it applies to all nonetheless. Learn your dream, and with it, the art of loving. So I pose a question for you all today that you have your whole life to ponder, whether it's a dream you've had since you were 13 in high school or an aspiration you'll have when you're 85 years old. What's a dream worth skipping the biggest event of your life for? When you commit to executing and making it a reality, that desire will show you who you are. It will, as Hamlet says, hold the mirror up to nature, and you yourselves are the nature. To add, and more importantly, find, carve out, and keep a community that will advocate for your brilliance 1,000 times over, like Mrs. Sesame did for me, and Mrs. Bowen supported me in. And because your very own will to see it through is contagious and infectious. You don't have to figure it all out now. Though 12 years ago, I thought I did. I wanted to be the quickest to the metaphorical hill of success and whatever that meant. I wanted to make my parents proud. I wanted to be the best and brightest. I wanted to attend the university with the best and brightest. I thought there was only a place where there were only a number of best and bright. But brilliance is everywhere, especially in you. And it don't cost $80,000 a semester to pull it out of you. If you're going to community college, go with pride. If you're going to an Ivy League, go with pride. If you're going to a trade school or conservatory, go with pride. I've gone to all three: Brookdale Community College, Atlantic Conservatory for acting, before receiving my master's at Yale School of Drama in 2022. And I still have yet to know what it all means. In the moment, days before my high school graduation, I remember thinking, my life is moving so fast and I don't know who I am or what I'm doing. But now, hindsight is knowing, in the words of my cousin, Z Pitts, you gotta be patient when you're becoming someone you've never been before. Over this life, you will live through many different iterations of yourself, and all of them will have served a purpose. You're living through an iteration of yourself that will inevitably change. There I was, 12 years ago, choosing whether to be a traditional student and come to graduation, or the storytelling actor I always wanted to be. In the pursuit of yourself, young graduates, take your time in learning your dream. In the most literal sense, take your time. It belongs to you. It behooves you to relish in the experience of what it will take for you to upgrade to the next you. At 3 decades young, I'm not jaded. I believe in these faces that sit before me. You are all the future you yourselves have been waiting for. Congratulations. 2 things before I go. In the spirit of community, I have a cousin in this audience, Ayana Mountain. Are you in the audience? Yeah. Your father, Kenny Morris, my first cousin, was the first person to personify hope in our family. We grew up together, and my siblings and I would create boy groups in your grandmother's apartment. He was a singer. He had a voice that could sing you to sleep and also lift you off your feet. His style was infectious, and his heart was genuine, and he was unapologetic. I'm most certain that his spirit is alive on this field and that he's singing your praise so loudly in heaven. May he be here with you in this moment as you accept your diploma and for the many accolades you achieve over your life. And before I go, because I am a performer, I wrote you all a poem that I need all your voices for. Is that okay? All right. So, this poem is for you all, and it is called To That We Say. So whenever I say to that we say, I want y'all to respond, we did it. So to that we say, we did it. I can't hear y'all. To that we say, here we go. When we got to high school, there were other students that were there for years. We had no idea what to think, nor how to feel, but we pushed ourselves anyway. To that we say, From the moment you stepped into this school and the clock started ticking, to the equations on the board and all the essays written, to the teachers in the right trying their hardest to overcome all the students' negative response, to that we say, to all the honor students and valedictorians, salutatorians, and the top 10%, for all the hours, days, and weeks and 12 years spent, to the late nights and lonely hours breaking down theories that didn't make sense, to that we say, "We did it" is the affirmation of all the students who made it to commencement. It's all the behavior that puts you on the fence, the lately and maybes and the oh no and the I'm calling your mom. To that we say, to all my teachers with kids of their own, but adopt me for an hour after class to go over my mistakes before going home. To all the students that go home and enjoy their meals. To the students that go wandering around the school for a few hours to heal. To the teachers who know our struggle and the students facing trouble. To all the dreamers that still dream and all the friends that form a team and achieve all their academic goals because the answer is never no. To that we say, to that I say, let's get it. Go after all that you wish to accomplish in your life. Run towards the hobbies that made you believe. Should I, would I, or words of disbelief. May you always move with confidence in your feet, because tomorrow don't come with a contract and hindsight broke its neck to look back. So regret is just a word with too many letters that curve, and I wish I would have is a phrase with too many nerves. May we all fly tall like skyscrapers and create our own worlds. To that we say, to that we say, see, your voice is the only tool that matters in the world. If sticks and stones can break your bones, and words can mold diamonds. So believe in your breath and the words that you speak. To that we say, y'all did it. Y'all called it. You said one day I'll stand in front of my class and give a speech at graduation. That one day I'll go to the in-state school that I love for my favorite occupation. Or one day I'll be happy to turn in one college application. That being the first in my family ain't the worst. It just takes a little patience. You are more than a number. You are more than a statistic. You're more than statistics. You're more than a junior or your parents' only child. You're infinite. Free your minds. Free yourself from judgment. Free up spaces for more people to have to space. To the world you'll build, go make them. And to that we'll say, congratulations, y'all did it.